Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It was a good episode because we got a lot of Eda and Serkan moments sprinkled within, and they were just so amazing and cute and adorable. But other than that, it was dragging once again, and it's just so frustrating and so tiring in my opinion. But before I get into my review, if you're new to this channel, hello and welcome. I summarize and review the latest Central Kapımı episode. Say what I like, what I didn't like, what I think might happen next. If you like these kinds of videos, like, comment, share, but most importantly, subscribe so we can meet on a weekly basis. As always, let's talk about the side storylines before we dive into the Eda and Serkan storyline. This episode focused more on Eda and Serkan, of course, but we also got some side storylines going on. So first we have Engin and Pugul. Nothing much happened with them except towards the end, Engin was talking on the phone to Pugul and she was shopping, and then he only heard a car crash and then somebody yelling, the woman got hit, blah blah blah. So he immediately thinks that it's Pugul. He's panicking, going to the hospital. Right when he arrives, the doctors are wheeling out a person with reddish hair, and I was like, that's not her shade of hair, but okay. And then suddenly we hear Pugul asking, what is Engin doing here? And then he's so scared of her because she just appeared next to him and he thought that she was dead. And then he faints after she explained the whole situation, and it was just so hilarious. Then we have Aydan, Seyfi, Ayfer and Kemal. So Kemal finally revealed himself to Aydan. He actually rang her doorbell and he just wanted to talk to her. At first she was really shocked, and then he's just like, well, I missed you so much. I came as soon as I heard that you got divorced. She still has this wall built up and she is still hurt for what he did to her. So she's calling Ayfer for help. She's just amazed that he came and complimented Aydan and told her that he missed her, and he's kind of sorry for what he did to her, but he did it to protect her kind of. And then before he goes, he gives his, what's it called, the card where his name and his phone number and contacts are on. He gave it to Seyfi. Seyfi actually called him later in the episode when they needed some help from Kemal with Dennis, and that was really close to Serkan finding out that Kemal is also there and Aydan knows Kemal. But in the last second, Aydan hid him because all of them were at Ayfer's place. Oh, I think he also asked her out, but she declined, and then later in the episode she was quite torn, so she calls him. He accepts her invitation, and that's when she tells him that she doesn't want to do anything with him because she wants to be by Serkan's side after everything he's been through, and she can't do this, blah blah blah. And then he tells her that he accepts her decision, he will keep a distance, but you never know what life has prepared for you and where life is pushing you kind of. So he's telling her that fate might bring them back together, but he has everything planned out because Ateş, so the guy where Serkan and Eda were on the runway for, he has a new business partner or a big boss, like the main boss. The main boss wants to talk to Serkan, so they have this meeting, and then suddenly when Kemal appears, at first I was like, how does Eda know him? But then I remembered he's actually the one that saved Eda from drowning, and I think he was really happy to be in the same room as Serkan and spending a little bit of time with him. Serkan, on the other hand, was very skeptical. He thinks there is something behind Kemal and his proposal. So Kemal wants to have this project with them or this partnership with Art Life. Serkan is like, really? Are you sure? So he's very skeptical of Kemal, and I'm really interested to see how Kemal will reveal himself to Serkan in the future. When Kemal and Ateş go outside, Ateş even tells Kemal that this whole partnership is not very lucrative for him, so why do it? And then Kemal says that not everything is about money. So I still think that Serkan is his son, or he just wants to help Aydan. I don't know. But anyways, I kind of understand Serkan's apprehensiveness towards Kemal, but I don't really see Kemal as a bad guy. Then we have Aydan playing the detective. I laughed so much watching him being with a hat and a cloak and him just following Dennis, putting a GPS tracker on Dennis's car, and then him panicking because the pressure of finding Dennis and telling everything to Serkan. And I mean, the fact that Serkan knew that Erdem has friends who are in the spying industry, it was just amazing. Anyways, when Eda and Serkan arrive at the hotel where Dennis is at, Erdem has a panic attack and faints, and that's when Serkan sees Dennis. He punches him, but I'm going to talk about that later. So when Erdem wakes up, Dennis, Serkan and Eda are gone, but Eda and Serkan went in Dennis's car because Dennis hijacked Serkan's car. So Erdem thinks that Dennis is driving away, not knowing that it's actually Serkan and Eda. So he follows them, and then they drive into a garage, and Erdem is really proud of himself and closes the door. So when he goes back to art life and tells everybody, so Melek, Pırıl, Ceren and Engin, about that, they're really angry and are like, we need him here, we don't need him locked up somewhere. So Erdem, Melek and Engin are going to the garage, and what do they find there? Serkan and Eda. And then it was really hilarious when Erdem wanted to drive out the car, but Serkan pushed the button, so it closed the door on Erdem. It was just hilarious. And then also the scene where Erdem hugged Serkan because Serkan kind of apologized to him, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, it was just so funny to watch Serkan being so uncomfortable when Erdem was hugging him. Anything else? I don't think so. Ceren being quite normal, and when she had a talk with Melek about love, about relationship or something, she was actually looking at Ferit while this love topic was happening. So I do think that she is trying to get back with Ferit, and they also had a small conversation, and both of them were very nice to each other, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds for them, and hopefully they will be back together. So yeah, I think we can move on and dive into the Eda and Serkan storyline. So the episode starts right where the woman who officiated the wedding is telling Eda that it's a real wedding. Dennis confesses that yes, that woman is real, and he was just desperate and he loves Eda, and everybody is like, oh my god, are you kidding me? This can't be happening. You could really see that Dennis was really uncomfortable. So Eda is losing it, being like, no woman, you heard, this is all fake, this is not real, blah blah blah. So then Aydan steps in and is like, well Dennis, you can cooperate with us and sign the divorce papers, or you're having trouble with police, blah blah blah, because it was fraud or something like that. He agrees to signing the papers, and then when Serkan is confessing his love to Eda in front of everybody else, then this gets really uncomfortable, so he walks out. And then what I really didn't understand was that moment where Eda turned up the music and then ran towards Serkan, and I was like, is this kind of a dirty dancing moment? But then it wasn't, so I was like, okay, is this something that I don't understand, or it was just a filler scene kind of? I don't know. It was weird. I really liked his confessions, but yeah. So then Eda and Serkan go to Serkan's place, and they walk past Melek and Ceren, and Ceren actually apologizes to Melek for her behavior, blah blah blah. That's also what I forgot to say. Anyways, they both go to Eda's place. Oh, before that, they are by the seaside, and she wants to ask him questions about their past, but he's like, no, he wants to think about the future. And then they kiss, and it was so amazing. They end up at his place, and then he tells her welcome back home or something like that, and she's like, home is wherever you are. And then they start dancing, and it was just so amazing. And that song, it was just perfect, and I loved it, and I was like, oh my god, this episode is going to be amazing. But wait for the end, because it's going downhill. Anyways, I'm going to talk about that later. So they're dancing, and then they're sitting and talking, and then him being like, I'm sorry for making you upset, her being like, you didn't do it on purpose. And I was like, since when did your light bulb turn on? Because the other episodes you were like, no, he forgot me on purpose, blah blah blah. And I was like, suddenly you have a clear mind, okay. Then he tells her that he wants to make it up to her, and then they kiss, and he leans her back, and I was like, are we going to see some naughty time? But no, we see her in a shirt the next day on the couch, and I was like, why is she on the couch? Did they do it on the couch? I don't know. Anyway, she's so on cloud 9 seeing him beside her, and then she remembers the time or something like that. Then she calls Melek, and Melek is stressing out because Eda only has 8 hours left to sign the papers. Then we see Dennis in his shop just waiting to go to that office to sign the papers, but then Celine comes and is kind of infusing her poison into him one last time. Before she starts talking, he's telling her that he feels really embarrassed for everything that he's done, and then she's like, no, this is not the end, we can't let this happen, because if we are unhappy, they are unhappy. And then Celine kind of forcing Dennis not to sign the papers because she talked to a lawyer, and if the time goes up and Dennis didn't sign the papers, Eda can't remarry for the next 300 days. So yeah, then we see Eda panicking because Dennis is not picking up, and she asks Melek how much time does she have left, and Melek says 6 hours. So I was like, how much time did you need to get ready and go back to Ayfek's home from Serkan's home? Like 2 hours? Are you serious? But okay, maybe that's movie time, I don't know. Then we see Serkan at the office calling Celine, telling her to apologize to Eda, and I kind of understand where he's coming from because she's his childhood friend and they're business partners kind of, and she did take care of him to a certain extent, even though she had like bad intentions, but she did take care of him. Celine was like, no, I'm not going to apologize, and I'm never going to do that because I did it out of love for you, blah blah blah. And Serkan gets kind of angry, but not really. I expected him to be more angry, and he tells her that Celine tried to destroy his life with Eda and stuff like that. And then when Eda comes all happy, she gets a message from Celine and she's like, is that an apology? Should I forgive her? Blah blah blah, and then loses it. And I was like, oh my god, girl, please just talk calmly, talk it through. Communication is key, but apparently for her it's not, so she loses it once again. I mean, I kind of understand where she's coming from, but you don't have to over exaggerate once again. Then Melek comes in and tells Eda that Dennis is not picking up, so Serkan is like, okay, we have to search for him. So they go to Dennis's shop. Before we see them arrive there, Dennis actually closes the shop up, and the neighbor or something like that asks him where he's going and is like, just away for some time. Then Eda and Serkan arrive and they're looking, and that woman is telling them that Dennis actually left. So that's when Serkan is hiring Aydan as a spy. So we see Dennis in the hotel and also his plane ticket. So he actually wanted to go from Istanbul to Madagascar, and he's quite relaxed because he's like, oh, they can't find me, blah blah blah. Because before that he actually called Serkan taunting him, and in the meantime Aydan was putting the GPS tracker on Dennis's car anyways. So when Dennis sees Serkan's car arriving at the hotel, he panics, packs everything. When he goes out, as I already said, Serkan sees him, stops him, punches him, and then while Eda is stopping Serkan from punching Dennis, Dennis runs to Serkan's car and drives off with his car. And I was like, oh my god, how stupid can you be? Seriously. First, who doesn't lock their car door? Second, who leaves their car keys in the car? Third, who leaves their phones in the car? I mean, there were so many question marks in my head watching that scene. But anyways, Serkan and Eda take Dennis's car and they see a location in his GPS. So they drive there and it's the garage. On the way somewhere, Dennis stops the car on the side of the road and then is kind of hitchhiking. Later in the episode, we find out that he actually went back to his shop, because when Aydan and Ayfek find out about the fact that Dennis didn't show up, she wants to go to the shop. So Ayfek, Seyfi and Aydan are kind of breaking into Dennis's shop. He's at the back of the shop, so he's watching every move, and then when they're looking for him, he tries to run away. But then, I mean, it was such a weak escape in my opinion. Seriously, he could have just shoved someone out of his way, but he didn't. He was defeated quite easily. Anyways, they tie him up and then nobody wants to stay with him, so he just stands up and and walks away with them. I was like, okay, this is just ridiculous. And they end up in Ayfak's home. So Ayfak then calls Serkan, and Eda and Serkan arrive. Before he arrives, Seyfi wanted to kill Dennis for everything that he did. So he makes a concoction, but it turns out it's Ayfak's sleeping pills. So Dennis is falling asleep quite quickly, and when Serkan, Eda, Melek and Engin are arriving, Dennis is fast asleep. But before that, Kemal was trying to take Dennis somewhere else, but Kemal was hidden on the terrace or something when Eda and Serkan arrived. Everybody was panicking because they need Dennis to be awake and sign the papers. So Melek is screaming at him and shaking him, so Dennis mysteriously wakes up, and then Serkan gives him the papers, and Dennis is trying to apologize to Eda while he's signing the papers, and then that's it. Then kind of the next day, Serkan is at Eda's place because he couldn't sleep. Engin is calling him that Ferit got a call from Ateş that the main boss wants to have a meeting with Serkan. So Serkan just accepts and knocks on Eda's door. She's really happy to see him. She's like, oh, you couldn't sleep as well. And then they're all so cute and adorable, and he asks her if she can teach him how to dance tango. Oh, one thing that I forgot to mention is that the wedding location was actually the same location where they had the brunch with Efem. So Serkan wants to learn tango with Eda, and then Ayfa comes, takes a picture of them, and it was so adorable, so cute. So she sends the picture to Aydan, and Aydan is just so happy to finally see Eda and Serkan together. Before Aydan gets the picture, she's very torn if she should call Kemal or not to have a talk with him, and Seyfi is kind of convincing her that there are no obstacles between them, so why not just give this love a try. And she tells him that she gave up on love completely, and I feel really sorry for her because I kind of want to see her with Kemal. Then we have the scene where Dennis is going to Art Life and Eda and Serkan are not here yet, so Melek stops him and asks what he's doing. So he's begging her to help him to make Eda forgive him because he's so embarrassed about everything and he wants to be friends with Eda again. Then Leyla is coming with a folder or something that Melek needs to bring up to Celine's office. So when Melek is upstairs, Celine's phone rings and there's a doctor who then tells Melek that Celine is pregnant, and that's kind of a big burden for Melek to keep quiet and not tell Eda, because she tries to tell Ceren but then backtracks and is like, no, go work, do your thing. Then we have the scene where Eda is telling Serkan to just start dancing tango right then and there, and he's very apprehensive. What now? Why? Blah blah blah. So I do think that he was planning to plan the surprise for Eda, but now that she wants to dance with him, he can't do this. So he calls Engin, and Engin is actually at the hospital and being treated after he fainted. Serkan tells Engin to prepare the surprise for Eda. Then we have this montage where Eda and Serkan are dancing and Melek is kind of watching them and also watching Engin and Pırıl, and I felt so bad for her because she sees everybody around her together and coupley and just adorable, and her being single, and I feel so bad for her, and I really do hope that she finds her match in this series as well. Then we see Eda all ready for the party, but before she goes, she actually calls Kemal and invites him to the party. He accepts, and she also calls Serkan and tells him that she invited Kemal as well. Serkan is not very amused about that fact because he still doesn't know what's about this Kemal guy. Their conversation was really cute, and then at the end he was like, and it was just so amazing, so funny. I laughed out loud when he did that and then was questioning himself, why did I do that? So before Eda goes to the party, she actually had to convince Melek to also go. So that's when Melek tells Eda about Celine's pregnancy and that she saw that the pregnancy test was positive. Eda goes to Celine's place and confronts Celine. Celine doesn't deny it. She says yes, she's pregnant, but she doesn't want Serkan to know about about it. Don't worry, Eda, I'm moving away. I'm raising this child by myself. And I felt kind of bad for Celine because when Eda left, you didn't see her evil smirk or something. So I do think that she's pregnant. Maybe not with Serkan. Maybe she's scared that it's Serkan's, but maybe it's somebody else's child. I don't know. But Eda doesn't allow Celine not to tell Serkan because she knows what it's like to grow up without parents. So Serkan has a right to know that he has a child with Celine. So she's very hurt about that. But at the same time, I'm like, she could have questioned her. Are you sure it's Serkan's? Should we do a test? Or even talk to Serkan? But no, everybody is at the party. Serkan is really nervous because he plans to propose to Eda with a new ring. Then Kemal arrives. Aydan is really confused. What is Kemal doing there? So I'm really interested to see their interaction in the next episode. Engin signs to Serkan that Eda is arriving. So Eda comes. Serkan is waiting there for her. Tells her, welcome my love, or something like that, and then proposes to her. And everybody is so excited for them and waiting for her to answer. And then she tells him, no, I can't. And the pain and the hurt in Serkan's eyes and the confusion in everybody else's faces, it was just so painful to watch. Only Melek knew the truth behind Eda's answer, and that's the end. We didn't get a trailer. These are just my predictions that I think that might happen in next episode. So Serkan will contemplate a lot why she didn't accept his proposal. Maybe because Melek will see Serkan suffering that much, and also Eda, she might tell Serkan the truth, and then that's when he will confront Celine. Then maybe go to the doctors with her, or maybe Celine will just tell the truth that it's not his and she didn't get to tell Eda the truth, because maybe she can say that she didn't want Serkan to know about the pregnancy because she knows that he cares for her, like cares for her as a friend. So that could be a possibility. And then Eda being stubborn, I can already see it, her losing her mind, her being angry at everybody, just a pity party for Eda. I mean, I understand it, but it's just dragging so much and I'm so sick of it already. I'm really sorry to sound that negative, but it's just like, please finally get them back together. Let us see a wedding, let us see them as a family with children, and just end the series because it's dragging way too much and the cliche storylines are coming up, and it's such a huge difference, like where we are now to where we started, and it's just so sad to see that. Anyways, then I do think that Serkan will dig up some information about Kemal and maybe find out the truth, who he is, what connections he has with Aydan, with himself. I don't know what else to say. I'm really sorry if it might sound a little bit harsh, but it's better for them to end it sooner rather than later, dragging it on, losing more and more audience and just having a meh ending, than to have an amazing ending and everybody being happy. So yeah, I hope I said everything. I hope I mentioned everything. If I forgot anything, I'm really sorry. If you still like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this episode. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Ring that bell to be notified whenever I post something, and I will see you next time. Bye!